Sykora is an interesting one because for somebody that was a pretty high draft pick by the Rangers, a second rounder to be exact, you don't really hear like a whole lot of buzz around him as it pertains to really just about everybody. You know, myself, I don't really talk about him maybe as much as I should. I don't see a whole lot of buzz about him from Ranger fans on social media, the beat reporters. I mean, they'll talk about him from time to time, of course, but you don't really see him like at or near the top of the list as far as like the prospects that fans are dying to see. You know, I'm sure there's some fans that would like to see him at some point, but not a whole lot of buzz about him, considering that he was a former second rounder. And in fact, that year that he was drafted, the Rangers did not have a first round pick. So he was the first player taken that year in the NHL draft by the Rangers. Now, he is still just 20 years old. And maybe that's part of the reason why there's not a ton of buzz. You know, people just kind of assume that he's not quite there yet. And as far as like high draft picks go, I think the general consensus is that he doesn't have as high of a ceiling as other Ranger prospects, whether we're talking about guys like Othmann, Perreault, maybe even Berard, even though Berard was a later, draft pick. Obviously, Will Cooley right now is doing his thing as a second rounder. But I'll be very curious to see if Adam Sykora makes his NHL debut for the Rangers this upcoming season. It could certainly happen. You know, it might be one of those situations where he gets the cup of coffee call up that the Rangers do every so often. We saw it with Brennan Othmann. You know, he got, I think, 3 games a couple seasons ago. Will Cooley, his first taste of NHL action, he was up for only 4 games. You could see something very similar for Sykora this upcoming season.